Hello, boys and girls, and welcome to Virtually Seeing the World. In this episode, we will be exploring Northern Australia. We will be taking off from Darwin, heading east towards Point Stewart, all the way around this way, and then we'll be having a look at the Cape Den Lighthouse, which is here. Then we'll fly towards Melville Island, Bathurst Island, and back down to Darwin. See the world! Today we will take off from Darwin and head southeast, and we will follow the number 1 highway. We're just passing Palmerston City. Originally, Darwin used to be called Palmerston after the British Prime Minister Lord Palmerston, and it was renamed in 1911 to Darwin. And let's keep heading southeast and following the Highway 1 for now. We'll start turning more eastwards and follow Road 36 and keep heading east-southeast for now. We're just overflying the Harrison Dam now. Can't really see the dam in Flight Simulator. You can see a little bit of water underneath us. And we will be crossing the Adelaide River. Keep heading east and southeast. Straight ahead you can see the Mount Bundy training area. It's an Australian Defence Force facility, occupies the eastern side of the locality here. And we will turn left and follow Mary River towards the Mary River National Park. As we come to the edge of Mary River National Park, you can see Point Stewart straight ahead. In the 2016 Australian census, there was a report that Point Stewart had 22 people living within its boundaries. It's a very desolate Australian area, and we will be turning right and head southeast towards the Kakadu National Park. As we overfly the Kakadu National Park, I should mention a few facts. The Aboriginal peoples have occupied this area continuously for around 60,000 years. The park is renowned for its richness of the Aboriginal cultural sites. There are more than 5,000 recorded art sites illustrating Aboriginal cultures over the thousands and thousands of years that they have been here. So straight ahead is the Jabiru Ranger uranium mine. It closed last year in 2021. The uranium mined was sold for use in nuclear power stations around the world, including Japan, South Korea, China, the UK, France, Germany, Spain, Sweden, and the United States. They stopped mining quite a few years ago, but then they were also processing what they've had mined. That took them quite a few years. And from here we will head towards the little town of Jabiru, which was created and built for the workers of the mine. Jabiru has 1,000 residents. It was built in the 1980s. It has a rule that the town was to be built with a maximum of 3,500 residents to protect the area around it and the Kakadu National Park. And most of the residents used to work in the Ranger uranium mine, which we just passed. We will now turn a little more towards the north and head towards Crocker Island. As we fly towards Crocker Island, there is a lot of interesting history about the island, which lies in the Arafura Sea. Before the Europeans came over, the indigenous people of Crocker Island were the Ja'ako, and there were an Aboriginal Australian people who spoke a language called Margu, a language isolate. The modern indigenous communities speak Iwaija. There's only about 150 speakers who are the last remaining speakers of the language, and also other indigenous languages such as Maung, Kunwinjinku, and of course English. Between 1940 and 1968, the Methodist Overseas Mission operated the Crocker Island Mission here. During Second World War, when the Japanese were bombing Darwin in February of 42, a lot of the non-indigenous children from the island were evacuated to Sydney. They were put on a train that covered over 5,000 miles over 44 days to Sydney, and then afterwards, after the war in 1946, they were all returned to Crocker Island. There have been books written about it as well. And in March of 2005, Crocker Island was severely damaged by Cyclone Ingrid. We're flying towards Minjilang, a small community on Crocker Island. We're flying straight ahead towards the Garrig Gunag Barlu National Park, and we will try to find a lighthouse at Cape Den. Here we can see the Cape Den Lighthouse, nicely shown in Flight Simulator. As we fly straight ahead, there are two big islands ahead of us. First one is called Melville Island, the second one is called Bathurst Island, and they're both called the Tiwi Islands. Indigenous people have occupied the area for at least 40,000 years. They're Aboriginal Australian people, culturally and linguistically distinct from those of the mainland just south and across the water. The Dutch visited the northern part of the islands, the northern coastline, in the 1600s, only to be repelled by the Tiwi peoples. Story goes that in February 1824, Captain Gordon Bremer was appointed upon instruction from the British Colonial Office to take possession of the two islands, Bathurst and Melville. And of course, as we saw what happened with the Dutch, and owing in part to the hostility of the indigenous population, they only lasted about 5 years here, and they abandoned it in 1829. In 2016, the population of the islands was around 2,500 people, of whom 89% were Aboriginal people. Here's another little story from the past. From 1910 till 1938, the island was the site of the Roman Catholic mission of Francis Xavier Excel. Now, he was known as the Bishop with 150 wives. And what he used to do is he used to buy young girls who were forced to marry older men. And so he made it possible for them to then marry younger men of their own age, thus setting them free. We will now head back towards Darwin, across the water. As we overfly Wagite Beach, we will head towards the Darwin airport now. Below is Ross Smith Avenue, mentioned in the last episode. Ahead past the swimming pool, you will see the original 1922 Qantas hangar. I recommend reading the history of it as it's very interesting. I hope you have enjoyed our exploration of Northern Australia, the very isolated communities and places. Hope to see you next time as we explore the area west of Darwin. Until next time, bye-bye.